Okay, let's. Hey, do you have the website up? Let me know when we go live, all right?
Yeah. Oops.
No, we're a little early. Not really. Okay, yeah, okay, I think we're live now. Hey, do you have the website up? Let me know.
Yeah, it's live.
That's it. All right, it's up. Okay. Mute yourself, Max. Here we go. Hey, guys. Hello, hello. There we go. I had people over. Some people came out of town to visit. So we were kind of like rushing there. But I think I got it all together. It looks good. On the right site. Good. Hi, Aaron. Good. Here it is, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock and all's well. Baby. Hello, Victoria. Man, the Chiefs put a hurting, didn't they, Victoria? They put a hurting on the Steelers, didn't they? Hey, Jen. Hi, Ann. Hello, James. Yo. Hello, Jeanette. Say hi, everybody. So usually I have something idea to talk about, and today I don't. Today I have nothing that occurs in your life that's pre-thought of before I start. But I had something happen today that was epic. So, anyways, let's kind of lay this out the best I can. I'm getting better at understanding my journey, me. See, the habit of humanity, what I was educated as, is to have an idea before you start the journey. Journeying aimlessly, or taking a journey without aim, better said, is counterproductive. I would suppose is the right word. People want, what are you going to do? What are you going to be when you grow up? What do you want to be? Blah, blah, blah. You can be whatever you want to be and all this shit. And there was never any instruction from reality on being. And that I received. Now, I know there's folks out there who are masters at being. And otherwise, the consciousness of humanity wouldn't have that opportunity. And since we have that opportunity and that awareness of being, then it's most certainly been represented in our collective through the human collective's ascension. So for me, the journey is this, is to get to know me, the nature of myself. And since I was born separated as a incarnation of the collective of me, the whole of me, the higher self, the whole self, it doesn't matter how you want to label it. You all know what the hell you're talking about it. Keep it yours. You know, like Keep it your way, whatever that is, that relationship, it's yours. And that's one of the key factors I understood, is that it has to be yours. It's incomparable, unjudgeable, immeasurable, your truth. So the idea to find my truth about things is the journey that I've embarked on, and I want to offer to humanity through the representation of my channeling and speakings, and the classes and the shit that I do and whatever. So something happened today. I birthed a revelation of self. I broke down crying in the kitchen for like 10 minutes. Snot, tears, gut-wrenching tears, crying. Because I was so fucking afraid. Incredibly afraid. I found another layer of fear I've never known before. It's not, I need to find out who I am. I need to stop being what I think I am, right? And then what's left over after you tear all down your entire structure of belief, inherited because you were born separated, no one's fucking fault, the nature of you is evident. And I've gone through a lot of personas, personalities, a lot of changes in myself to take off of this and chip away that, to emerge this person, this self. And it's a fucking journey, and it's not over. I got a little message the other day from the Blue Avians, and they said, it's a fucking journey, Roxanne. Continue on your journey, and they said, don't hesitate, don't second guess, don't, just go, just keep going, okay? Because you can't get it wrong, because all my fears were consequential. Although I was like, there's no consequences unless I deem it as a consequence. Well, yeah, no shit. And I was still deeming fears. But these were deeper fears, ones that I didn't recognize. See, I postured myself doing work. You do work. You represent. You teach, you channel, you rip people up, they rip you apart, and then we expose our own identities to ourselves, and then that internal universe has to do its work to transfigure that relationship. My belief in. What do you believe in? I don't believe in anything. I know I am, and my relationship to reality is not filtered. I still have filters, and I'm still working, and I'm still journeying. So I had no idea what I was going to talk about today, except what I do now is what I want to say. Here's what I like to do. I like to represent to you guys a way to see yourself. You have to be honest, and you have to know that the minute you're honesty, there's probably a deeper level of honesty you can be. It might not happen in that particular now, but when it does happen, have the humility to continue that honesty about yourself. It's not that you're less than. Believe me, I was told every fucking day that I was less than. I was reminded every day that I was less than. And it hurts, and you cry, and you're mad, and you're angry because you're a human. And what is wrong with that? Humanity will tell you. No animals will tell you. No books will tell you. Humanity won't even tell you, if you really look at it. There's the work. Only I was telling me. So I realized the representation of my daily journey was to really understand my relationship with reality. And that work that I represent through this YouTube, the channelings, the speakings, everything that I do is the work that I've understood as myself discovering. And it is a very unique, incomparable journey. But there is light available for all who choose to understand and journey within their kingdom and enlighten themselves. And this allows the collective to be more mature. We don't need governments. We don't need things like that. Right now, we think we do, and that's the belief systems, but there has to be representation of the change. We're grown up to govern ourselves. We don't need laws. We don't need jails. We don't need prisons. We don't need all of these things because we have lack. And if we didn't have lack, we wouldn't need those things. So we have to not be lackful. So we, as enlighteners, do the work. And the work is an engaging discovery of self. And I can't believe how much it hurts. I don't recommend it for anybody. I don't. But I can't help but what I do so people can choose this. Because you're going to find things about yourself. And you're going to have emotional relationships with those discoveries. And those emotions are going to birth new emotional relationships. And you're going to continue until you realize you're continuing in the idea of the same thing you've always done, just at a different degree. And you're going to get smarter about that. And you're going to deconstruct that. And you're going to create another self, another identity. And you're going to keep going. And then you're just going to keep getting smaller and smaller until you see the greatness of you. You will. Because you're doing the work. You're not going to keep continuing to recreate yourself as lack. Because we all know if you choose yourself in the moment, that only bursts change. And the human is not you. The human is a structure of experience. The human is a suit. It's an avatar on an incarnated planet. That's all it is. The whole self is playing the game. And you're down here with the blood, with the sweat, with the guts, with the smell, with the pain, with the suffering, with the horrors, with the joys. That's what you are. You're the fucking incarnation. That's what we do. We're this and that. But I'm not interested in that. I don't give a flying fuck about that. Because that would make my mind busy wondering why that is doing this to me. That's another distraction. So you got to really encompass yourself and understand that everything that is in your reality is your match. It doesn't mean anything until you assign it. The relationship is noticeable. It has value to it. If it's unnoticed, there's no value. If it's noticed, there's value. The way you talk about your parents, the way you talk about your spouse, the way you talk about your job, the way you interact, the way you behave, where your value is, where your energy goes, that's how you create, that's your will of the now, that's how you experience your life. No one's in charge of you. What I found at the deepest part were fears. Fears about what's not going on. And at the most monumental level, broke down and I was like, fucking Tommy came in and started holding me as I was crying in him. I was like, I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid of taking that next step into the emptiness. No safety, no security, nothing to say my future. Everything I was taught is not there anymore. And I'm afraid. Someone's going to find out. It might as well be me because I ain't doing anything else. And I'm not interested in anything else. I'm not interested in earning money. I'm not interested in a job. I'm not interested in making myself a posture of a purpose so people can go, oh, wow, fuck that. I'm interested in finding what the hell's inside of this kingdom. And it's leading me to a threshold of emptiness, of uncharted territory. This isn't in a book. It's not in anyone's history because it's a unique individual world. Whatever is manifested in my world is my creation of the now. It doesn't sit in time. It was never before and it was never after. It's always now. And that's this magic. And to see that the now is always wrapped you in the comfort of its own grace. It is so beautiful. It is so, well, it's freeing. It's a release. the now. The mind sells you stories. It sells you obligations. Sometimes you don't notice your own behavior and then your relationship to it. You might be affirming shit in your mind, but your heart inside is going, bullshit, you're afraid. Your mind goes, no, I got this, it's okay. You're doing the work of an ascender, but you've turned that work into an ascension idea of another affirmation. But your heart is going, no. You don't really fucking know this yet, do you? You still believe in hope. You still believe in fear, don't you? And you're like, yeah, I do. And I'm afraid. And I was so goddamn afraid today. You know, the journey is going to take you somewhere you don't want to be. Reckless and alone, irresponsible. Just this recluse of you get a barrage of vibrational attacks because your light is so fucking bright. And it doesn't happen in the idea of people. It happens in the idea of the uniqueness of your world. But just know that these are the changes of your work. So I'm in there scared to death. And then I had that awareness, right? And that awareness said, this is for you, Roxy. Relax. This is your work. But it wasn't that self. It wasn't a channeled self. It wasn't a Noria. It was me. And it said, hey, so you're here to experience this. How do you understand pain unless you're in it? Not avoiding it, not interpreting it from afar, living it. How do you get the idea of intention unless you intend? How do you get success unless you achieve? How do you get failure unless you fail? It's not what you are in relationship as defined imagery. It's what you are in experience. So I met fear today for myself, this deep fucking fear, and I let it out. And I want to pass that on. I want you guys to experience what you are in the moment. Don't fucking hesitate. Don't hesitate on how you feel. If you have a partner and that partner loves you unconditionally, then they should know what you are. You shouldn't condition yourself with someone else because then you're not going to do the work. You're going to maintain a relationship of lack. If you have a partner that loves you unconditionally, that means unfucking conditionally. If they want to scope your idea with conditions to have you act in a relationship of their privy, I would make some changes. Unless you're not interested in this work, then conform, do whatever the fuck you want. We're all good at that. I was the best at it. Changing myself to fit the monkey suit they wanted me to fucking wear, right? That's what I mean by no hesitate. I can scream like that. I can cry like that. And I have a lover, a partner, a man, Tommy, that says, it can be hard being human. That's his line. And he comes and he holds me and lets me cry. He doesn't try to fix it. He doesn't try to make it better. He's not mad that I'm mad or upset. He lets me. He lets me be what I am here to experience. And I am an incomparable journey. We may have similarities, but it is incomparable. My blue is my blue, never will be your blue. Your pain is your pain, and it'll never be my pain. When people go, I understand your pain, fuck you. No, you don't. You understand your pain, get to know it. Get to know your fears, get to know your belief systems. And belief systems, again, I cannot emphasize this enough. Belief systems are polarized. So your positive belief systems are just as conditioned as your negative belief systems. Okay? So express that. Don't hesitate on the moment, the choices you make. I have a truth inside of me about where I want my life to go, how I want to conduct my daily affairs. But the future doesn't allow my mind to see that. My fears don't allow my mind to see the future and how that can be maintained and work. So I am going to not take action on making it that. Because then I will be efforting the idea of my memory resourcing lack to create a lack-fulfilled reality that is a diminished version of myself as an unconditional creator. I've recreated myself 1,000 times with effort and intention and success. That's mundane as shit. It's got no value. It's got no moxie. It's got no salt. It's plastic. So now you don't hesitate. You let yourself out. You feel your fears. You feel your hopes. You feel your ideas of happiness. You step back. You look at that belief and you're going, that's me transcending. I don't need to get happy. I don't need to be a child. I don't need to try to make myself something. You guys not hear the words I am. I am means already. But the mind, and you got to work on that kingdom. You got to do that work. The diligent work it takes. If you're repeating yourself, repeating your fucking habits, that's on you. There's nobody in charge. Do you think we're mature enough as a collective to take charge of ourselves? I think we can. We need representation of that. How to live a life without fear under the guise of an oppression. Not oppression from some particular group of people. The collective of lack, of separation. The I'm not God. The one that lies in your kingdom that sells you the story of pain that you buy into. We are magnificent beings. These are gods wrapped up in a meat suit walking around on a planet of lack. They're all afraid. I don't give a fuck what they're selling you. They're fearful. They're empty. They don't know what to do with themselves. So they posture every day the best they can. But that doesn't invite nor solicit sympathy for them. You got to be that rogue that says light. And I think that's what we can do. That's what I learned about me. I like what I do. The pain hurts, the beliefs, the transfigurations, everything that got me, the people that helped me, all of that got me to now were my ideas of finding me. I've hurt people, I've hurt myself, I've got mad at people, people got mad at me. These are all the belief systems of a maturing collective. This is how we transfigure ourselves, by using the all. Don't conform to the reflection. Create it. And you'll know yourself. I can't give you a clock. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know how many belief systems you're going to find. We could all be fucking onions peeling away ourselves until we die. I don't know. There's no outcome to this. I'll stay in the now and I'll represent that the best I can so people can find the kingdom because it works. I find my fears. I don't recreate them. I transfigure them. I get better at myself every day. I'm starting to understand my world every day. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens because it's a journey of forever. Soon this journey will be the same as your recess when you were in 4th grade. It'll be a memory. This entire lifetime is going to be a memory. You're going to know you. You're going to know this is part of you, the growing, birthing, ever-changing I am. I love what we do. No, there's no book. No, there's no guides. All of those are created for you to choose, which is your magnetism of creation, so you can find your way home if you want to go there. We all go there anyway. But what would it be like to know it? Not to dream about it, not to hope about it, not to think about it, but to know it as an experience, to ascend yourself, to ascend your kingdom back to its idea of itself, its fullness. I would say that's magnificent. It's a motherfucker, but it's worth it. I was going to have a friend on. That was the ones that were just here. They brought food. They cooked. It was Lisa. Lisa's husband, Guna, was a chef. He cooked. God. It was so good. And that's part of the magnificence is when things come into your life, it's not all hell. And it's not all happiness. It's an undefined journey. You got to be a master at noticing yourself. And you got to be brutally honest. I was holding myself up still because my reality spoke volumes of you're on the right track. And I was still putting myself on the right track, which was an absolute conditioning. There's no wrong track. There's no right track. There's only the now of you. The only way it's a track is my memory. And my memory is created in the moment. How reliable is that thing? I don't need that. I don't need a future. I don't need a past. So it was great to visit with people, to share a conversation, to enjoy company and good food. It was nice to be human for a moment again. So don't neglect your humanity, but don't encourage it either. Be the realizing we're birthing a new species here. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I say we're Homo divinicus. I say we're finding the divine inside. It is not a law. It is not a certainty. It's an idea. And I'm going to go after it in the way I am in the now. I know I'm divine, and I know I'm a human. So I can bring those two home. Maintain my idea of this third density, but be fully aware of my own creativity, my own self. So we can't be what we were. We can't be what we think we're going to be. We have to be what we are. And that takes courage. It takes so much courage to do this. Most times you're selling yourself a story. Most time I can't say this or talk this because, and I can't because. That's all fucking bullshit. You're selling yourself fucking pain. You're keeping yourself in your own box. You got to watch yourself. You got to look at yourself. You got to be honest. If you want to take this journey of ascension, you got to go inside and you got to take everything apart. And you got to look at it and say, is this fucking me? If it's not, get rid of it. When those doors open up and you're looking, you find the one that says you, and you don't hesitate on that door. You don't hesitate on that. You walk through with a galleon of you and you just say, fuck, here I am. Because you can't lose yourself. There's no loss of life. There is only the experience of birthing energy of you. You destroy every day and you create every day. It's a mere focus. You collapse entire timelines in your universe by no longer engaging in the value of something that no longer is your truth. That entire idea, think of how many people you don't remember. Think of how many realities are no longer there. They've changed in the end. You destroyed them in your world and you created something over here. The will of the now is always where you focus. It's always present creating. You're just looking for what it's supposed to be based off an idea of the polarized point of view of a conditioning that'll bring you some justice or some gratitude or some fulfillment through externalism. That's just another version of pain. You got to build your kingdom. You got to tear down every fucking ounce of you. You got to look at every part of you and you got to birth it. It may mean losing people, but you're not losing yourself. You're losing dependencies because if they're gone, they needed you. And you needed them. If they're in your reality, then it's a relationship of maturity, not of dependency. If it becomes a dependency, cut it off. Be awesome. I react so much, I cry, and I'm afraid. I find deeper layers, and I teach it. And I channel, and I do all this stuff. And I was so afraid of the responsibility. I had people that loved me, people that sent me donations, that signed up for the classes, and they wanted something from me, and I had a responsibility, and I was fucking afraid of that responsibility because I don't want to fail people I love. And I failed my fucking people that I love in my life so many times. And that's the way I would exist, is through failure. And then I had to stop being that. I had to look at it and understand it. I had to become the failure of myself. I had to transfigure that. I had to take responsibility and not be responsibility for a creator that is infinite and indestructible, having a human experience, not my job. I made it my job, and that was my understanding, my journey, and I transfigured that. And now I know you guys have that within yourself now. Because it's possible. Because it's represented. And if it's represented within the eyesight of the collective vibration of something, then it can change within each kingdom. And it becomes choice. And then the choice can be made. And then that astounding change. It's the people that have supported me over the years, that have given me the monetary support, the loving, the ears I needed to listen to, the thing. I pent most of it up inside and just it would explode over and over again because I didn't know how to ask for help or seek that idea. And I realized that the help was relationship itself. A, it's okay to ask for help. And B, help is just an experience. And how you relate to that becomes a journey. Everything is an experience. There's nothing to be afraid of in this journey. But goddamn, it is scary. It's a scary motherfucker. Death. Loss, and that's not scary. That's a relationship. Scary became discovery. Discovery of how much I don't know me, how empty I truly am, and that I have no value unless I have an external relationship some dependency that gives me my worth. When I saw that, that's when it got scarier than shit. Because I was left all alone, no one. I have people, I have supporters, but I had no one inside. That's scary. But then you get down to that, you realize you're still there. This is my friend Lack. I think we've introduced. It's a fucking monster. But then when you find the emptiness, I mean, you really find it. If you're still having a relationship and your mind is still working, you're still working through it. See, what happened when I found the emptiness, I had no resources left to calm it, to soothe it, to talk my way out of it. There were no more fucking thoughts coming in. There was only the moment of absolute terror. I had no thought about release, fixing, changing. There was just that deepest part of me crying in fucking terror, fear, so afraid. You know, you get this and you can't breathe tears, you know? And that was monumental because I realized I was there. I realized I am experiencing. Without polarity, without fixing, I am the idea of this now. And that's now what I wanted to share. I think it's good. I think you guys are better than you can imagine. I think the work you do is stellar. Coming to this planet, whatever that means, from this point of view, this self, this now, takes courage. And they might be train wrecks out there, lawbreakers and haters and pranksters and just plain fucking assholes, and good Samaritans and politicians and different religions, and they're all screaming their heads off like fucking banshees, but they're gods. So the God that's in you knows that. And the God that is in you is representing that. And it is only you who can show that light. And that light is an undiscovered expression. And I would encourage you to be the truth of you, the light of you, the Divinicus in you, and bring that monster to the table of humanity so they may see themselves in the mirror of your light and recognize that kingdom within and mature this monumental collective of children lost on the playground with no direction home, and home is inside. And you and me and the other light bearers out there who've chosen to take up that staff and shepherd people into their own kingdom once again, I say we have that. And you have my thanks for the courage of doing that. Because I finally know I'm not alone on this. I'm one and all. but I had to meet me first. Do that. Get to know that eternal being that you are. And you'll know that kingdom once again. I think we can take some questions, maybe. Max is in the room. I'm just starting to learn it. Woo! That's a great song. Max, it's Roxy. How are you, darling?
Great, thanks.
You there?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Let me
Okay.
turn down my thing. I had the sound off. Max, it's Roxy. You there, Max?
Yes.
Any questions in the chat?
So,
No worries, guys. It's always a lot to take in, but if you have questions, we'll be here for you. Good food. We had a urban garlic rice with the Malaysia sauce, which is funny. Or not Malaysia sauce. Well, he is from Malaysia. Marcella sauce. And we had chicken inside of it, and it was on top of the rice. And then we had meatballs. Oh. And the sauce was made with cashew nuts and ground up nuts into a paste. I mean, the real deal, no heavy creams to make it. Oh, stop. Anyways, I'm sorry, Max. You there? Anything?
yeah, we have a question for Alison. So she says, Roxanne, what kind of story you're selling yourself every day?
Great question. I sell myself identity mostly. That everything is okay. That these things are for attraction and reasons. I still have a structure in my head. I still have vibrational thoughts that are manifested in the moment as a relationship. But the thoughts will never stop. I don't think thoughts will ever stop. It's just when you don't focus on them or you don't have the value of them in the moment. But then I always go back to my Seth. And I always say, remember your Seth. Everything is a relationship to those ideas. So when you change the relationship, again to review real quick, everything in creation is true. Your view about an experience can be true or false to you. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about polarized relationship of true and false. It's reality. Whether it takes place in the frequencies of the eternal measurable frequencies that we are, science already taught us that. Dream state, delta state, here on the frequency of Earth state, when you're gazing state, daydreaming state, it's all real. It's all true. And it's how your relationship to it. So everything to me is the relationship. So sometimes I'm catching myself sell myself stories. And today there were some things happening, and none of this is happening now. It's like at the end of the month, later in the month, or next month, the beginning of next month, those things started mounting. So automatically I sold myself fear. And then I accepted that fear. I was like, I can't be afraid anymore. I have to be afraid. See, when I'd be afraid, I would sell myself a story about that and tell myself something that was going to be okay, instead of being the fear of it and being afraid. So at that moment, my relationship to that changed. I no longer sold myself fear and the counterance of it. I became the fear. And it's such a deep level. And I've done that probably 50 fucking times. There's layers of it. but the relationship of it is deepening. Again, remember your Seth. You have these bridge beliefs up here that most humans run around on all the time. They change religions, they change ideas, those are bridge beliefs of identity. We're talking core beliefs. So as you go past the bridge beliefs, now you're down to yourself. What makes you you as a human? You change that, you see that first, then you change it. So every day I was talking myself into stories. I would look at my habits. Rotating my dishes was a thing. Rotating, who the fuck rotates their silverware? Well, I did. Because my belief is I wanted the silverware to get used. I wanted the dishes to get used. I wanted the green drinking glasses to get used. Because they're glass and they're experienced and they don't want to sit in the cabinet. So that was a story I was selling myself. But I didn't change it because the relationship, that's what my truth was. So now I don't have the need to do that. I just do that without thinking about it or doing it as an idea, a posture, or an intention. I do it without thinking about it. There's no relationship. It's the same as breathing. It's the same as blinking your eye. It's the same as walking or going to the bathroom. It's so part of your life, there's no relationship because it's automatic. It's the nature of you creating a reality without thought about it. See, when I'm thinking about the self of the now. When I'm being, I'm not thinking about it, I'm experiencing. So I still have stories I sell myself, but there's 1,000 stories. And I work through each one of them. And I get better and better and better at me. Because I'm the only one who counts. Without one, there's no all. So I better take care of one first. Then the all will have the opportunity to experience themselves as a human collective. Beyond humanity, I have no fucking idea, and I'm not arrogant enough to actually think what goes on outside of my human understanding. I know that this representation, this story that humanity has created for itself of separation, its lackful journey, has birthed 1,000 different belief systems to experience. So you change your relationship and you don't sell yourself to stories. You transfigure them until you discover another part of you as your enlightening continues, something else in your kingdom that no longer serves you. That you're structuring as a relationship of externalism instead of, or thinking about, instead of being it. When you become it in full surrender, I call it, absolute fucking naked, defenseless surrender, total I am this, then the realization of that feeling, that birthing idea of experience transfigures it, and I can never have that same relationship to it. So the story I sell myself today about next month was a trigger for my realization of the depth of my fears. Now those fears don't have the same hold on me. I have matured because I discovered myself. So if it's happening for me, these thoughts that are bombarding me are for me to experience myself transfiguring, my birthing, my ascending self. Not with purpose, not with outcome, not with hope, not with need, not with an intention for humanity to get it, because that's another fucking story. Just because I'm that fucking awesome. And I can. And I am. So there's 1,000 stories every day. And you have yours. Don't sell you another story about the future. Don't sell yourself a story about the past. When those stories come up, you look at them with the sharpness of your own mastery. Look at that and go, that's my bullshit, my belief system. And I have a choice about it. I can enact it. I can be the lack. That's okay because no one's judging. I can allow it and see where it goes, and I can choose a different reality. That's okay because no one's judging. And all of a sudden you realize it is all about you. And you're the only one who creates your reality. You create your experience every fucking moment. Forget about the details. Forget about the materialism. Forget about what it is, how it looks, and all that stuff. Forget about the fantasy of the child or looking for the shiny thing. Get off the playground and get into your reality and say, I'm here as the experiencer of my own self-creating. Get on board with that and start to change your story when the opportunity comes, because you will know yourself as creator. Right now, I know myself, and most people know themselves as the fractal. To get to know the I am is through storytelling, recognition of it, and then transfiguring. That's how I answer that, darling. Max?
Yes. Next we have Katya Vanessa saying, can we change physical appearance?
Oh yeah, go back and look at my YouTube. Go back and look at my YouTube from 8 years ago. You can change your physical appearance. But I don't know about changing your bone structure, your face. I had to be okay with accepting this. You have these dreams. You want to be more this and not that. But then when you dig your way into being yourself, and the relationship with your own physicality can change. And then the only one that's going to look different to you is you. People have told me you're not the same. You don't even look the same. But I still see parts of me the same as I did 8 years ago. There's parts of me I don't recognize anymore. I look in the mirror and I see someone else. I have a person in my memory than what this is. But I had hopes about being more this instead of that. And I gave up on those things because that was not accepting I am in the moment. And then when I became literally okay with who I am, how I appeared, what my ride was pimping to the world, and how I decorated myself as me, when I was really okay with that, is when I started to change the way I appeared to myself. So the answer is yes. But that's a mastery. That's not a formula that you can sell on YouTube or infomercial or as seen on TV. There's no selling any of these ideas. This is a journey of masters. You got to go inside that kingdom and look at you and start tearing it, and your abilities do return. They do, because there's no one in charge. It's only these layers and layers and layers of this conformity that's telling you you can't, you, and all that. And then you're like, and you got to do that work. And the answer is yes, you can change your physical appearance. There's no formula except the discovered one that lies within your kingdom. Max?
Yeah. Sorry. Next we have something. So Game Over says, hello, do you feel the shift? I don't know which
never
one.
feel the shift, because my feeling of an external the isn't. I own everything in my reality. I always feel my shift. That might be arrogant. I'm sure there's a collective shift. I think COVID was a collective birthing shift for people to change the relationship to reality, to maybe see that there's some of the stuff that we did before we don't need to do anymore. I see that shift. I see a shift in the collective, but I don't get a shift from the external. I'm the change of reality, so I recognize my shifts. A big shift is, here comes a habit, and I choose not to engage in a habit that no longer services me. A belief system of time, a habit, a story I'm selling myself. And I change, and that's a vibrational shift. See, it's not in the frequencies of positive or negative. It's an awareness of internal movement. That's an undefined, and it doesn't have what we hope it does. It doesn't mean anything. We can assign it whatever the fuck we want, but that's the value of the moment, and that's constantly changing. I started channeling in 2013. In the first 5 years, everyone's talking about, did you feel the energies last night, the shift? And I kept on saying, nope, I didn't get shit. Because I was looking for something that someone else was telling me that isn't there, because it's in my world as a representation. I wasn't looking inside, I was looking outside. So I started looking inside. It took me years to start looking inside. But I didn't know there was an inside. I didn't know anything except I could channel. And I channeled my fucking ass off to find my way home. So you can do whatever you want to do to find your way, but I'd highly recommend doing you, whatever that means. So I do feel the shift every day in my kingdom. I'm constantly rearranging, deconstructing, collapsing and birthing realities, shifting constantly myself. It is a master's journey, and I'm excited that you've chosen it. I'm excited for you. What an epic idea that we have created for ourselves, huh? Max?
So next, same. So Game Over says, what's a good exercise for practicing telepathy?
Telepathy?
Yes.
Well, finishing someone's conversation, paying attention to the now. You kind of know what people are going to say anyway before they say it. And sometimes you even say that, I know what you're going to say, and they go, no, you don't. And then you say, well, I wasn't going to say that. And you knew they were going to say that because you know that. But reading other people's mind is still a vibrational interpretation. So you're not reading their mind. You're translating thoughts. Could be them, could be their memory, could be 1,000 other people. But I think it's a skill that we can learn. So as far as an interest in it, I haven't been interested in that. Because my channeling has given me that. My channeling is the back door to 1,000 ideas. People's names, people's kids' names, their memories. Because you're open to the idea of all the beings in the co-created moment. But that's not special information. It's not like information you sell. That's for children. That's fantasy. This is for understanding the relationship to reality. And it doesn't matter if it's their truth or not. It's mine. I don't need validation of what I'm receiving. My 9 years of channeling, I don't go back on and doubt myself. I don't look at it and go, was that good information? No. Because I trust this kingdom. Even though some of my thoughts might be skewed by belief systems, the frequency changes into an idea of a different thought, a watered down version, or a completely different thought is regardless, because I can't get it right the first time. I get it right all the time. I get the evolution and discovery of me. So telepathy is a tool. There's many telepathic beings out there because A, they're not in physical reality, so there's not a whole lot of sound. If you don't have a compression planet to have sound bounce around, then guess what? I guess we got to think to each other. We got to conversate that way. So I know it's a natural part of us, but I haven't been interested. Telekinesis, that's different. I'm very interested in that. That's an ability to return. But again, that's not fantasy. If you make it fantasy, you put lack into it, and then you'll never get it. I guarantee you that. Because these are ideas, because you're a creator of your own reality, why wouldn't you be able to do these things? But you can't have a relationship of expectation or fantasy about it, because that's an externalism, and that becomes lack, and then all of a sudden you're right back to the fractal. So these aren't things that are just known and all of a sudden remembered and then boop, 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 boop. You're all of a sudden a Jedi. But they're not out of bounds because they're realities. Everything in reality is true. It's all your relationship. So you got to find the maturity in you, whether you want to be an idea of a fantasy or you want to be an ascender. An ascender is an internalizer. It enlightens its kingdom. It lightens up. Max?
Next, we have a question for Xenomorph. I think it's about sacred geography.
Geometry?
Yeah.
Sacred geography.
Geography, yeah. What do you think? What do you know about the flower of life? Thoughts?
I look at these ideas and their created reality of experience. Again, all of these are subjective ideas. When sacred geometry was real hot to trot in around 2014, everyone was talking about it, and everyone explored it, and no one got the key to it, because there isn't a key. It doesn't release and doesn't show you all the powers of those things. It's a part of. There's the flower of life, the tree of life, the lotus. All these things are relationships. So sacred geometry has some reality to it that's usable and knowledgeable. But you got to look at the relationship you're having with it. It's kind of a theme tonight, right? Every answer I'm giving is about your relationship to those things. So your relationship to sacred geometry is whatever it is. But it isn't the key. It's like free energy's been on the planet for years, but why don't we have it? Well, apparently, as a collective, we're not interested in it yet. We're still interested in COVID. That's why it's still around. As soon as we stop putting our energy into it, it's going to go away, because we create our own realities. Stop talking about it, it goes away. You destroy it. So free energy, they've been trying to figure out for all these years. But what would happen to, I don't know, what would happen to 300 million people overnight if we got free energy? Just take 300 million. Can you guys get that number in your head? And now 300 million people don't have jobs because now we have free energy. Who's going to feed them? Where's the economy? Where's the trucks? Where's the car makers? The parts, the drivers that drive. All that free energy, all of it's gone. There's no more energy through ideas of fossil fuel, no more coal, no more fire, no more nuclear. It's all free. We pull it right out of the air. What about those 300 million people? What are we going to do with them? You going to feed them? We're going to give them away free? That's the thing. You got to look at the relationship with sacred geometry. I went through all this. Guys, this isn't new stuff. We need to go back to 1987. We've been doing this for a long fucking time. We've been trying this stuff out for a long time. That's when it really started getting hot, is in the 87, the harmonic convergence, they called it. It's when the collective goes, there's more here than meets the eye. Right? So it's not that you can't have free energy. It's not that sacred geometry is fake or real. It's your truth with it. What's it doing for you is a relationship of evolution. If you're externalizing it for a reason, like externalizing free energy, and it would save the world, and everyone would be happy then. No one's going to be happy because of you. Happiness is a relationship internalized. Happiness is a natural way that we are. We're not naturally sad. We're beyond happiness, truly. We're bliss. We're fucking unreal. We're a goddamn, oh my God, I'm a God. That's what we are. To me. We're not sourpusses. We're not negative. We're not hopeful. You got to find that inside. So you got to find the relationship with that sacred geometry and what's it going to do for you. If there's a purpose, I think you would look at it again. If you want to explore it your way. Because I guarantee you this, if you're energizing it, they're going to start coming. Ways to explore sacred geometry. It's not a waste of time because you do actually create time in the moment. That's how time works. Time is created as a relationship in the now. So you can't waste your time. So explore sacred geometry your way, whatever it is. I'm not interested in it. I'm interested in speaking and channeling. I'm interested in my flute. I'm interested in my Tommy Jean. I'm interested in cooking. I'm interested in my witchcraft. These are the things that interest me as an expression of my human journey. So when you find something that's intriguing, you look at the relationship. Start to get to know that relationship. Even though it feels good, it still might be lack or it might be truth. But you got to journey into that to find out. Meditation, sacred geometry, remote viewing, channeling, being a medium. It doesn't matter. All of these are real. These are all realities for your kingdom to explore. So don't ask and don't look for permission. Find it in yours and move forward in the now. You can't fuck this game up. You only can change it. And the more honest you are with yourself, choosing yourself, the better it gets. You will go through some of the most torrential fucking shitstorms you have ever experienced of self-realization. Yes. And of course, it's worth it. What's not worth self-discovery? What's not meeting yourself and going, hello, and recognizing your own I am? What's next, Max?
Next, PB says, "Hi Roxy, did you ever notice the real you watching your thoughts when you are falling asleep at night and the real you hearing them? Did you ever notice the real you watching your thoughts when you are falling
Oh, when
asleep?"
you're falling asleep, I missed that. Yes. 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 Not often, but yes. Hello, Nick. Good day. Nick said good day. Good day, mate. Yes, I did notice that. There's a weird part sometimes when you get in that falling asleep, that dreamy little weird freaking fairyland where there's fairy dust. It's that weird state that you realize you're you and you realize your thoughts, but you know you're your thoughts and you know you're this other thing. Yes, I can say yes to that. What else we got, Tommy? Hello, Desiree.
So, is the so I don't know how to say this, but is the Teraxet the geometry of Christ's conscience?
That one I have no idea, baby. All my kids know what I'm going to say. LOL. That's funny, Krista. Krista, I don't know about that. See, there's a, again, remember your Seth. There's a search on the web on Google. Search in Seth. What is it called, Tommy? Seth detector, Seth transcriber, Seth. It's like Seth passages, Seth transcriptions, and it brings up this website to where you can type in anything about any subject, and it'll pull everything that Seth set up immediately. So you go find Seth Seeker. I think it's a Seth Seeker or Passage Seeker. Type in Christ conscience and read everything because he's got a lot about the Christ conscience. And that gave me a good idea. A Christ conscience is like anything else. It's a representation of change. It's the kingdom of heaven lies within. The resurrection with his birthing self. He ascended himself. That's what a Christ conscious is. It's not an external idea. It's a representation of the kingdom within you. That kind of idea. So however you feel about that, but the geometry thing, I don't know. You're welcome. Yes. Good. We good, Max?
Yeah.
I think we're good, guys. We've been on for a little more than an hour. Outstanding stuff. All right, ascenders, masters, way showers, light bearers, staff bearers, badasses, monsters, destroyers of reality. Go find you. I love you all. See you soon.